Welcome to Igniting Inspired Insight, a space for real, expansive, explorative conversations with incredible humans. I'm your host, Jay, and I'm honored to guide these cordials, these chats, and to really see what can come through for us. So, in each short episode, we ask three questions and open the door to reflection, resonance, and revelation. And this is a space for truth, trust, and the kind of insight that comes from simply being human. Let's begin. What I love about today is that this guest who, beautiful human, we met in circles. So we met in another energy of inspired insight, of inquiry, and really looking at where and what is true for us. And so I love that we've landed here and we have since discovered that we've met more than once, which is so cool. So I'm really honored to and welcome to Jo. And I want to hand over for you for a second for those who are watching or listening. Who is Jo?
Kia ora. I was born in the Home Valley to Jan and Phil. Um, yeah, so the Home River and Titnab is my hill. We couldn't really call it a maunga. Um, so the moors, very close to the moors. And I'm the mother to Jake and Ollie, who are 19 and 20. I graduated as a doctor in 95, came to New Zealand in 96. Um, as a junior doctor, I was drawn by the greenness, the clean green um, energy of Aotearoa. Um, yeah, I live here. Yeah, South Brighton. I've got my beautiful Pahutakawa tree behind me, but it's a little bit bright. I might reveal
Yes.
her later. Otherwise you can't see my face. Um, yeah, so just really, yeah, blessed to be here
Mm.
and yeah,
Thank you. I'm excited.
explore.
I'm excited to see where this takes us. So let's
Mm.
dive into the first question. What's one moment, belief, or experience that changed the way you see the world? Oh, we've frozen. Bugger. So, what's one moment, belief, or experience that changed the way you see the world?
Hmm. It's definitely the moment where my fostered adopted brother managed to, by misadventure, unalive himself. So he was 11, I was 12.
Hmm.
Um, so Paul's parents didn't have the capacity to parent, and he was actually sexually abused as a baby. And that wasn't shared with my parents by social services. So one of my first memories, I would have been about 4. We had a wall between our bedrooms, and I remember listening. He was banging his head against the wall, and then listening to make sure he was still moving. Um, so I didn't tell my parents about this because he would get into trouble for taking food in the night because he would eat until he made himself sick, which is a red flag, knowing what I know now. But this confused little girl wanted to protect her brother from not getting into more trouble, just really confused. um, and didn't know how to help. Um, so this is, I see this event. So my mum was screaming. I basically had to call the ambulance um, at the age of 12. Um, and so this has turned into my pain to purpose. I also lost my grandmother, who I was very close to as the first granddaughter. She adored me. She died when I was 17, just going into was I going to get applying for medicine? Was I going to get the grades? I wasn't sure. I would have been happy being a nutritionist or, um, so that 4-year-old girl, loved babies like I knew.
Mhm.
Somehow I had this affiliation with babies that I don't have so much now, not the really little ones, but
Mhm.
yeah, this pull to be a mother and to take care. So that awareness that's where my caregiver parts came in, and I'm trying to really allow them to step back because I don't need to. I can't possibly fix everybody and everything. Um, yeah, so I've just been to level 1 internal family systems training in Sydney. Um, and I got to tune into that little girl
Mm.
and in front of 50 people,
Yeah.
a demo, like really connect with her, and nobody knew the whole, that this is the great thing about this sort of therapy is that nobody knew the extent of what I was healing within myself. And it started out that it was the little girl who was jealous of these siblings arriving because I
Mhm.
was more than 2 before my brother arrived. My mum was desperate for me to have a sibling. She was an only one. And then my sister arrived. So I wanted to be noticed by my dad. I didn't want to be the brave girl, the good girl. Yeah, I wanted to be seen and heard. And um, my gran one night after Easter, um, I was allowed to stay up. And and I was like so excited. And my grandmother, oh, you need to go to bed. You're at the top of the tree. Like I wasn't allowed to be fully me. Um, from quite a young age. I was the 2-year-old bridesmaid for two family weddings. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Mm.
beautiful. So, how do you think the things that you've shared thus far have changed your view of the world?
Just how quickly things can change and how we need to be mindful of the way we show up in the world, that will, yeah, the less things we say to people and, coming from the heart, um, being vulnerable, reaching in when people are quiet. Um, yeah, so it's been a um, more than 30-year process of finding tools, resources to help myself with healing,
Yeah,
to
for
show
sure.
up as a mother, um, and also as a medicine woman,
Yeah, beautiful.
a
And
medicine
that,
carrier.
being in such a young age and experiences like that really do change the way you view support
Mm,
and understanding of others and suffering as well. But now you're at that point that it sounds like that you're understanding your own suffering
mm,
that was experienced at that time because is often that's the bit that gets left behind.
yeah. So, I mean, I certainly suppress my grief. You know, obviously my parents were devastated. I had a younger sister. So I just remember it was at least 2 years before I actually experienced that excitement of Christmas, of celebrations. Yeah, so there were a fair few losses in my childhood. Like I knew being the eldest.
And there's so much to learn from that. There's so
Mm,
much that's really shaped, as you said, like being a medicine woman. And I think there's something that's come up in previous podcasts as well is, that gives you a level of compassion like no other.
mm,
And I'm sure that that is received in your work and from your internal family systems. You're potentially learning how to turn that back to yourself as well.
mm,
It's a beautiful thing. Thank you for
mm,
sharing.
mm.
Here it is. So, this question I think is really beautiful, following on from where you've just been, but and possibly has come up since your internal family systems, but we'll see. You'll know your answer. What's been asking for your attention that you've finally started listening to?
Trust. Um, so this year has all been about trust and um, working towards a trip back to my homeland to visit family, where there's been um, ruptures, and so I connected back in with family constellations and did some work in preparation for the trip, and that was it was I was just stunned that it could be so easy, playful, having fun with my parents, um, re reconnecting with my only auntie and uncle. So my uncle Charles has been quite unwell, um, for probably nearly 25 years. So I was warned how unwell he is, and it was still shocking to see him as a shadow of himself. But so glad that I got to visit and spend time with my auntie, who took on after my grand died the real matriarch, the holding. Met the four beautiful grandchildren, reconnected with my cousins, really held by my best friend from when I was 8 or 9, the person that was there for me when my brother died. Um, and she was always there with a hug um, during the 2 weeks. So trusting and just, yeah, arrived in Mexico, um, and had this idea that I was going to go and visit Maria Sabina's town. Google Maps was like 5.5 hours, and I was like, oh, I don't know about public transport. Oh, look, hiring a car is real economical. Like I can do this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and yeah, it was quite a journey. Um, but the Mexican Black Hawk was with me through that journey.
Mm.
So if anybody's interested, I put that on my blog
Mm.
yesterday, and just really sinking into that
So tell
trust.
us how that connects to trust.
So here in Aotearoa, the kahu is my kaitiaki when I'm driving. Um, so it was confirmation. I was like, should I really be here? I'm on this super highway with trucks coming towards me down the middle of the road and these huge viaducts. Um, and before I did the last part of the journey, I managed to get Wi-Fi because somehow my phone wasn't roaming. Technical. Yeah. Um, and I messaged my friend with a map of where I was going up on this mountain road, unsealed road, and she just replied, "You've been guided." which was exactly what I needed to hear because I set this intention. I was going to, um, pay my respects and honor Maria um, and her medicine. So I finally arrived at her house, which is a museum. There's heaps of taxis go up and down the road, like a real hustle. And I arrived at sunset and happened to meet her daughter at the gate, and she somehow led me into the courtyard, and it was just this incredible wow. I'm here. A day later than I thought I was going to be, but um yeah, so just trusting. So I managed to squeeze in a visit to Palenque. Um, and
So,
then
oh, sorry.
yeah, so just that trust that it would work out and um
Trusting in what?
the creator, Eeyore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, um, coming from the heart, not the head.
Mm-hmm.
So
So also there's a trust in being guided.
yeah, and so visiting these ancient ruins, the Mayan culture came to me through Visumi the week after my 52nd birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a solar hand born in a storm wave spell.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like this catalyzing.
Can
um,
you tell me more about what that means? A solar hand, and
so
repeat what you said.
solar is the ninth tone. So solar is about intention. Um, the hand is about healing, but about accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
So we
And does this
never,
connect to the ruins that you saw?
yeah. So
Yeah.
Palenque was where um, the 1320 calendar was kind of rediscovered.
Mm-hmm.
So those ruins um, were abandoned before the conquistadors, yeah, the colonial ships. So it was
Mm-hmm.
preserved until the 50s. So visiting the Red Queen's tomb, so
Mm-hmm.
kind of sensing each of the places, the feminine and the masculine, and yeah, often with the local guides, they're kind of talking about the wars and the kind of chiefs and the masculine, but finding the Red Queen's tomb, um, and sitting in the Sun Temple,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I just let spirit guide me. I didn't do much research and
Mm-hmm.
just um, finding coolness because I had I wasn't up as early as I thought I would wanted to be. So it was very hot and
Mm-hmm.
humid, but yeah, I was guided to the right places and kind of I managed to go down to the stream, um, which isn't really on the map type thing. So yeah, beautiful waterfall with the water, and then managed to go to a beautiful massive waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Um,
visiting these places for you, you feel like that really connects you to trust, and in that sense, this is sort of what you're sharing is what you're feeling like you've been guided to listen to.
yes. Yeah. So, and I'm reconnecting to that younger self. So I did quite a bit of traveling as a teenager, early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the last 20 years I've been, uh,
Yeah.
um, not, yeah, responsible. So this is
Yeah.
real, um, and trusting. So I have animals. I have Boris the dog and Slinky the cat, and Slinky caused a bit of havoc next door. Um, she got inside with the cat flap, and she would stop their three animals getting in the house. So we've had to navigate um,
Okay.
back to
Yeah.
home. Yeah. So just that real
So
trust.
if we loop that back to that, what's been asking for your attention that you've finally started listening to? So I think for the listeners, if we could maybe bring that to a bit of a point for them, and what you've shared so far, and in that answer of trust.
So trusting in the timing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've always been quite impatient and um, fighting life. I'll show you. You think I'm not good enough to get the grades to do medicine? I'll show you. Um, and yeah, this trip kind of lined up within a day or two. I'd been waiting, thinking I was going in September, and then this conference, um, International Systemic Constellation Association. So there just happened to be somebody that couldn't use their ticket for the conference, and
Yeah.
then um, getting the invitation to the 5-day training in person, having that on
Yeah.
the end of the
Beautiful.
trip, and
Yeah.
just trusting that the exchange for all that would slot into place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Amazing. And that brings you to another level of healing.
Mm.
Yeah. So here we are in section 3, which is reflecting light, which means that Jo, you have a question for me.
So I touched on my kaitiaki, um, so the birds and the trees are my um they anchor me or guide me, tuning into the messages. Do you have kaitiaki that you connect with?
So many, so many. And a lot of them show up in, well, they're connected to someone who isn't in this realm anymore or isn't human.
Mm.
Um, However, I say a lot of them, but not all. Um, Very much the hawk, very much. And also just mountains, just being in the Maunga and having the view. And it's funny because I didn't really know. We do these things, it's just intuitive, and we follow where we feel most alive, or what helps us process the way that we need to in our lives. And I've always been drawn to climbing mountains, and not just the physical aspect, although that is very much a part of it, but just being up high. And I really feel connected to my ancestors when I do that. And I can feel how much time they spent, hiking and being in nature and being up high, and creating that journey for themselves. As well as I later discovered, like, that's literally my human design is mountains. It's
Mhm.
where I need to be. But even being just up high in different environments and things like that. I think it also just depends on where I'm at. And the more I've dove into the work that I do, the more I know what kaitiaki I need for where I'm at.
Mm.
And then not only is it they arrive when I least expect it and when I need it, but also when with intention, I can connect to that energy or that elemental, and really draw that magic in to support me. And that comes with discovering. It comes with practice. It comes with play. It comes with taking time to connect. It comes with being open and listening. And as you discussed in question 2, just trusting where you're guided. But first and foremost, it's all about being in the listening of self and being in the listening of what energy is coming through, for me anyway. Yeah. What about you?
Beautiful.
What about
Mm.
you?
Mm. Yeah, my connection to trees and the spirit of Rako have has kind of been landing um a remembering of my little girl who used to collect rose petals and make rose water. Just
Mm-hmm. So did I.
yeah.
Yeah. Making perfume.
Yeah, just and I went back to the little piece of woodland at my grandparents', and there were the oak trees that I go when I go into meditation, the ivy, hawthorn has been calling me, been using the medicine of hawthorn for a few years, and there um at the graveside of my a lot of my ancestors is a beautiful hawthorn tree. So um hoping to share mushroom medicine legally and just sensing the mycelium network connecting my homeland and um, where I am, where my home here.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, my beautiful Pahutakawa tree that doesn't quite work on the recording.
No.
Um, so she's the symbol when I was looking for a business logo, the
Yep.
flower as the logo for Wholehearted.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Beautiful. I feel you on the medicine of psilocybin, and I've done a lot of work in that area, and I've seen the transformation that it also creates for a lot of people, specifically with brain injuries,
Mm.
like physical trauma, and also treatment resistant depressions, things like that. Really next level.
Mm.
So I'm excited for that medicine to be more received and to see that really come back into our current world.
Mm.
Beautiful human. Somehow this beautiful recording with Jo got cut off. So we were very much at the end. So I'm just dropping in to thank her so much for her time and for joining us on the podcast. And I hope that it really inspired something within you. And if you have any questions for either of us, feel free to comment on the YouTube, on the Spotify, on Instagram, anywhere that aligns for you. And we'd always appreciate a share. A little bit more on that in the next video. But I just wanted to thank Jo and thank you and bring this podcast to a close. Hello, beautiful human. I hope whatever you've just viewed was highly of service to you. I'm going to ask you a favor. I would deeply appreciate if you could like or share anything that really speaks to you. And even more than that, it'll take 2 seconds of your time. If you could subscribe to this channel, what that does is allow me to be seen by more people and it increases the opportunity that I have on this platform. And that's just the nature of the biz. It doesn't cost you a thing, just a few seconds of your time, and it would really deeply help me to get further and reach more people in my work. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope I see you soon.